Speaking of which, segues, Justin Verlander just turned 42 years of age. When do you feel 42?
Not when I'm 42, apparently. I still feel great. So I get out of bed in the morning and I keep expecting these aches and pains everybody talks about, but I feel pretty good.
I like that you gave me a nice backdrop there at Scottsdale Stadium.
Thought about it. You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Instead of some sterile room there, I like that. You got a career as a cinematographer here. Let me start with the automated strike zone. With you having done this for so long, and now you see the younger pitchers who are going to grow up with this adapt to this. Is there an upside, in your opinion, to an automated strike zone?
Yeah, I think there's upside to it. I like the appeal system over the full automated zone. And the reason being, I think these umpires are asked to do a really difficult job. And, they're also the best in the world at it, even though they're not perfect. But that's a tough zone to call, especially when guys are throwing 100 miles an hour with nasty breaking balls. So I don't want to take away the part of the game that I love, which is catcher framing, the pitcher hitting his spot and getting a call because everything presented correctly and it looks like a strike and the umpire calls it, even though it's maybe a half an inch off. And the batter doesn't quite know. So in a big spot, in the game, maybe he challenges. But if it's the first, second, third inning, nobody really knows if it's actually a ball or strike. So I don't want to take away that part of the game. But I think, there's obviously opportunities where it's an egregiously wrong call, where you can turn that over, or late in the game in a big spot where, both sides want to make sure we get it right. Well, I say both sides, but, everybody wants to make sure you get it right.
I saw where Max Scherzer's not in favor of this, and then I had to laugh because you guys are veterans.
Uh-huh.
You guys got calls. Like, the umpire might give you the benefit of the doubt. Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, you, Scherzer. The automated strike zone, they don't know who you are.
I wish they don't do that anymore for us. You go back, when I first came in the game and you had those guys that you mentioned, Rocket, Roger, Maddox, Johnson, all those guys, you come into a game and it's like, hey, you're going to have a little bit bigger zone today. These guys have earned it. They tell all the hitters that. But with the umpires being monitored now, they get, even though it's not an automated strike zone, they get graded on every single game. So, I'm sure some of these older school umpires would like to give us a little bit bigger zone, but we don't get that advantage anymore. Unfortunately, I would love it.
How important is 300 wins to you? You're at 262.
Yeah. Look, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't important. I see pretty clearly that, unless something changes, that I'd probably be the last to have a chance to do it. So it's something that, is off in the distance. I'm not saying that I'm, the only reason I'm playing is to get to 300. I still feel good. I still feel like I can be successful, quite successful. I don't want to go out there and make a fool of myself just to try to reach that goal. But, I think the injuries that I sustained last year, particularly, actually, I learned a lot from. And, I think I can be the pitcher that I was 3 years ago when I won the Cy Young. So, if 300 happens, it happens. But it's something that, like a lot of the things I've been able to achieve in my career, it just happens because you're out there taking the ball and doing all the right things and just pitching. That's it.
What's the conversation like when you sit down with Kate and you go, well, tell me what the conversation's like where you decide you want to play another year?
Yeah. She's super supportive, man. It's getting harder. Our daughter is 6 now and in kindergarten. So you got real school happening where they can't just pick up and transplant the family for the baseball season. But, she knows how much I care and how much passion I have for this. And my analogy is, I want to set a good example for my daughter. And, my analogy is like, I've spent my entire life training for this marathon. I literally, since I'm 5 years old, since I was 5, I picked up a baseball and told my parents I wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. And here I am living my dream and still feel like I can play at a high level. So, I've trained my entire life to be in the middle of this marathon. Here I am running it. And I feel like I'm, I don't know how close I am to the finish line, but I'm damn close. And what a disservice it would be to me and my daughter to give up now. So, I'm going to keep playing and working as hard as I can. And in talking to my friends, they tell me, the guys that have retired, they say, when you know, and I don't know exactly what that means yet. So that tells me I'm not there.
He's Justin Verlander, now with the Giants, signed a 1-year deal. Do you have to hate the Dodgers more because you're a Giant? Is there a pamphlet that they give you on disliking the Dodgers?
No, it's more just a vibe. I think you can pick up on it. I'm actually excited. I haven't. Look, I've had some rivalries, but it's nothing like this. It doesn't have the history. It's had some just like in Detroit, there were, for a few years, the White Sox were really good and we were battling, and then the Indians. And then with Houston, the A's were really good. And then the Rangers were really good. I haven't had a rivalry like this. So I think it just happens when you start playing the games against each other and you just feel it. And the stadium, has that atmosphere to it that's just different, feels like a playoff game. I'm pretty excited about it.
If you could take one pitch off, pitchers in your era. So if it's somebody's fastball, somebody's breaking ball, somebody's slider, give me who you would pick and which pitch.
Jeez. Does it have to be? I mean, I would love Clemens Splitter. That would be.
You can take it.
Yeah. All right. I have a hard time. Like my changeup hasn't been a pitch I've been able to utilize much the last like 5 or 6 years, even though I threw it a lot when I was younger. I don't have a pitch that really moves that way. So that would be lovely if I could use that.
Okay. But what about curveball? What about fastball?
I mean, Kersh's curveball, iconic.
Can you teach Kershaw's curveball?
No, I don't think so. I think this is actually a problem that a lot of people fall into. It's a trap where everybody, with all of the analytics now, you can find out. You can watch video. You can see exactly how he throws it and the spin that he gets on it, just like anybody else's pitch. But I think there's something innate with the way that you throw a baseball. It's like the gait of a horse. It's just so unique to you. And that's what allows you to be successful at certain things. You talk about a fastball. I want my fastball. I think my fastball is one of the best, if not, it's one of the best in the history of baseballs. So I think that's just how I throw a baseball, though. It's just what I was born to do, and the way my body works. I can't throw a sinker to save my life. It just doesn't work. But the reason that it doesn't work is because the way I throw creates such a great spin efficient forcing.
But if you were coming up now, I wonder the longevity of your career.
Me too.
Because you would be a different pitcher.
Very different. I often wonder about this because it permeates all the way down now to little league level. I mean, you see all these Instagram famous places where you go to learn how to throw harder, and look, they have a place, they do, but for me, if I look back at my trajectory when I was a young kid, and I clearly got to the point pretty quickly where my father was like, you're past my expertise. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. So he found me a local coach, and that coach talked baseball back then. Talked about mechanics and feel and flow, and his name was Bob Smith, in Richmond, Virginia, and that is gone now. I think now, if my dad were to be in the same position, he would send me somewhere that teaches me how to be a little more cookie cutter and try to throw as hard as you can, instead of learning your own mechanics and cultivating your own movement pattern and learning how to pitch a little bit more. And I don't know where that leads. Yeah, I talked about this a lot. I don't know if I would have been able to have this career had I came up in today's age.
Toughest out in your career? Like, this guy came to the plate and you go, all right, let me just try something totally out of left field.
Salvador Perez has done really well against me in division. I would say, the good thing is, though, he didn't have a ton of homers against me. So, and Salvi, he's not the fastest guy on the face of the earth. So it didn't bother me so much. But if he came up with men on base, it was trouble for me.
But would you rather give up a bomb or one that trickles right over the left field wall?
Great question. It depends on the situation in the game.
Let's say it's just, you're up 5-0.
Bomb. I'd rather give up a homer.
Like 450 feet, you're okay.
I'm completely fine with it. At least I challenged you, and I can move on from that. We're still up 4-0. There's nobody on base. I still feel comfortable. A little blooper, and then then another guy gets a base hit. Now it's you got then a guy hits a homer, and it's a 2-run ball game. That's a little different.
Greg Maddux said, I said, describe the sound of a home run. He says it's like a car crash.
Yeah, boy. I mean, these guys.
But you know it right. Do you know it right away? Without even turning around.
Sometimes, yeah. A lot of times, no. It's kind of like you just had that reaction where you're like, get down. You're in your head the whole thing. You got a few seconds, so you get down. And you just don't. It's going to be close. And then some of them, you're just like, oh boy.
Yeah. When you're not pitching in spring training, what do you do? Like,
there's been a lot of guys here playing chess, so that's been fun. We've been getting some good chess games going on, and we're going to start a San Francisco Giants chess club.
Not in the dugout.
Not in the dugout. No. In spring training, you don't really. I mean, especially with my tenure, they don't make me be in the dugout anymore. But it's been fun this year. I mean, that's one of the positives of my family not being out here, which has been difficult. This is my first spring training in Arizona, but I've had more time to connect with the younger guys and spend some time at the field. So I really enjoy just taking that all in, and I think the perspective of where I'm at in my career, I think you want to enjoy it a little bit more and realize that it's not indefinite, that you get to play this game. And so it's been fun being around and hanging around the park a lot.
What hat will you wear when you go into the Hall of Fame?
Oh gosh. I honestly do not know. I don't think I would tell you even if I did, but
it's a good problem to have, Justin.
It is a good problem to have. You're right. Who could have known what would have happened in Houston when I got traded there in 2017? Like how much success I was able to have. No, like I couldn't have forecasted that. Nobody really could have. So I just have this mentality that, just head down. I'm working hard, and however far this career takes me and where it takes me, when the dust settles, when I sit back and I look back, that's when I'll ask those questions. But yeah, I mean, I get asked a fair amount, and quite frankly, I just haven't even tried to make that decision yet. It's obviously been thought of, but I'm trying not to make the decision.
You still have your Tiger uniform, don't you?
Of course I do.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. And your Tiger hat.
I have a lot of gear.
Okay.
Every year at the end of the season, I send it all back to my house, and just it's like I'm honestly not looking forward to going through all of it.
Could I get the Mets gear? I mean, really, that's not. I mean,
yeah, I'll send you something.
Okay,
I'll send you something from the Mets. Sure.
We'll put it in the man cave here.
It sounds good. I'll send it.
Hey, have fun. Good to talk to you.
Right.
Thank you again.
Right, yeah, thanks.
My best to your wife. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
That's Justin Verlander, Giants pitcher.